you have a coach in every other aspect of your life when you're an athlete. And then when you get to that level, you have some sort of advisor or coach for finances, nutrition, your body. You got a trainer. You have a coach that's actually coaching you on the court. You have so many, a business manager, but nobody's coaching you on your spirit.
So what are some things you feel like athletes need to watch out for as they, make these decisions?
It's a lot they have to watch out for. Like, I don't think the NBA is rigged. Like, people think that. I don't think that.
Oh, yes. Please clarify that.
I personally don't think that. I'm a famous person that you looked up. Like, I ran into Michael Jordan in the elevator one time at work.
That's dope.
I walk into the elevator and I look and I was literally like, it's like, I was literally like, that's you? Because it was like, really sorry. It's like, if you lie, you steal. And if you steal, you will kill.
They tell us when you're young, it's like I'm about to have a therapy session. They tell us when we're young, we're supposed to have fun, right? Like, live your life, don't have fun. These are the years where you're supposed to just do you, whatever.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when you're doing you also can end up hurting people's feelings. You know what I'm saying?
Right. When I was 16 years old, I was a virgin. And I was like, any girls, guys, it could be girl or guy, when you clear you don't want to have sex, you clear you don't want to smoke weed, you clear you don't want to gangbang, stand on that. Justin and I were in love, and I felt very, maternal. I wanted a baby. But did we sit down and like...
How do you feel about the 50-50 conversation?
Let me tell you how I feel about that. I would love to tell you how I feel about 50. When you go into a relationship and a man is making you feel like you are doing everything the same with him, it takes away that, like, you wanting to be submissive. It takes away that natural order of things for me, personally.
But the topic of conversation these days is like, a lot of young men are sassy, right? In my same-sex relationship, I play more of the masculine role, right?
So you're expected to pay. It's two things happening at the same time. It's a sassy man or sassy guy apocalypse, and then it's also a city girl, sexy red.
What's good, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Young and Dumb Show. We've been on a roll. I know I keep having the same intro every time. I'm gonna step it up, y'all. But y'all already know the Young and Dumb Show is the #1 show for Gen Z. We talking entrepreneurship, we talking money, we talking business, we talking life, we talking life lessons, we talking everything that we need to know so we can get young and we can stop making these dumb decisions. You know what I'm saying? Right? But let's get it. So today I am here with the architect, visionary, and creator, Miss Jazmine. How you feeling today?
I'm good. Oh, I love that intro. Thank you so much. I feel good.
Yes, that's good. Thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for coming on the platform. I already know you about to bless us with some life gems, so I'm going to just say thank you already. I appreciate it all.
No, thank you for having me. Honestly, I'm really appreciative. This is a really dope platform that you're doing.
Thank you.
Especially for your generation to be doing something positive. I'm really, really happy.
That's the goal, man. We just trying to inspire them all, you know? We 2 times alumni, right?
Yes.
We have something in common 2 times, right? We went to the same high school, Benjamin Banneker, shout out Benjamin Banneker. And we went to the same college, Virginia State University, right?
That's crazy.
Like, really crazy. Really crazy. But we about to talk about it, right? So one, I want to talk about who are you? What do you do?
Okay. Well, I am a mother.
Yes.
I am a architect and creator and visionary, and I put that in my bio on Instagram because I really resonated with each of those titles. Like, an architect is someone who builds. I'm looking to build community. I'm looking to build new systems and create new avenues, right? And then me being a creator, I'm naturally a creative. I've always been a creative person since I was very little. I'm a writer. I'm a thinker. I'm just always creating. I'm a visionary. I would humbly like to think of myself as a visionary because I really do see things before they happen, and not on some like that's so Raven. I just stopped. And I'm like, but I really do have vision, and I'm as humbly as I say that, I have to say it confidently because it's true.
So, all right, my first question is, this is off script because you saw the questions, but see, I told you I'm about to get you with some questions off of my mind. But how important, right? So I see how you notice those things about yourself, right?
Yeah.
How important is it for people to, when they notice these different skill sets that they have, to really live them out, right? To realize them, right? Because you know how sometimes people help people out and they be like, nah, I'm really good at building people, helping people.
Yeah.
But it's just like something that they just know that they're good at.
Yeah.
How important was it for you to like really realize it and like take action on it?
That's a great question. Love that. I would say I'm still doing it, right? I'm still in process. These are things that I have deep introspection about, and I pride myself on being self-aware. I think I have a really good idea who I am, what I like, what I don't like, what I stand for, my values are. So I'm really clear on that. Where I'm still, I would say, a beginner and like a baby is putting those things into action. So, however, I may not be able to tell you exactly how. I'm figuring it out.
Yeah.
I can tell you the importance. I feel really in flow when I'm doing the things I know I'm supposed to be doing. When I'm aligned with my values and my principles. When I'm aligned with the things I know about myself and the things I believe I'm called to do. Yeah, I can't say how to do it.
No, I think that's important. And not to cut you off, but I think that's important that you even realize that, because a lot of times I feel like people try to seem like they know every step of the way.
Yeah.
And one of my mentors, right, he has Wall Street Trapper. I'm not sure if you know Wall Street Trapper.
Yeah, I've seen him.
Yeah, Wall Street Trapper, right? For the people that don't know him, he's really big into stocks. He has millions of followers, millions of dollars, right? And in my mind, I'm looking up to him. I'm like, I want to be like Wall Street Trapper.
Yeah.
And I sat down with him one day, and he's like, and I made a comment, and I said, oh, when you were building. He said, don't get it wrong, Aaliyah. I'm still building. I'm still learning. Yeah. He said, no matter what stage you are, there's always a next level. There's always another way for you to build. So I thought that was like super important, because sometimes people try to come on, act like they know it all, know every single thing of the way, but it's like we all still learning, you know, and that's super important. So thank you for acknowledging that.
No, and I'll just add on there, it's something I learned in my previous role. I know we're gonna get into it at the league office. I learned when I first came, I felt so intimidated by the room and the people, and I'm like, oh my God, this is where I am, and I just didn't feel like I fit. And in the beginning, I used to pretend like I knew what they was talking about. Now I know basketball, but there were things about the business of basketball that I had no idea what it was about. And I would sit in those rooms and I would kind of like, to me, I felt like I should pretend like I know what's going on so that I could fit in. And I quickly learned that was not the way, right? It's so much jewels. There's so much to be learned when you can say, I don't know.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Right? So like when you ask me that question, like I could be like, yeah, and this is how you, but like that's not going to help me grow, and that's not going to help somebody who's listening to this grow. I found that I learned so much more when I was comfortable to say, I don't know what y'all talking about.
Yeah.
What does that mean? You know? So yeah, I would implore anybody to do that.
Nah, for real. Like even at the event I was at today, I'm listening to all these people, and they said, somebody made a comment like, it's not the question, it's not you asking questions that makes you dumb. Yeah. It's the fact that you know how to ask the right question that makes you wise. And that stuck with me, because it's like, you actually have to be smart enough to ask a question.
Absolutely.
A good question at that. You know what I'm saying? Where you want to learn, you want to get more knowledge, right? So that's super, super important. But since you brought up the league, right, we're going to get to it. Yes. Right? So you work for a really popular company, really major league when it comes to basketball, right? What was your role?
So my role, I supported the head of basketball strategy and analytics. Okay. And I did some project management. I did a lot of administrative things, just supporting his day-to-day and my department's day-to-day. But I had the great opportunity to lead some projects. I was able to work on some really amazing events like All-Star Weekend and Draft, Combine, and things like that. And that's what I did for almost 7 years.
Wow. Okay, so what did a day look like at work?
A day could look like, a department meeting where we're getting some updates about what's happening in our department, what's happening around the league. It could look like scheduling some meetings for my boss at the time. And then on like an event day, it can look totally different, right? Like a day where we're actually at All-Star, we're getting up at like 6 in the morning. Or we might even be reporting down at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, and our day is not ending until about 1 in the morning.
Wow.
And we're doing that for like 6 days straight.
Wow.
This is before the events even started.
Wow. Okay, so let's take it back. Right? How did you get that position? So like you coming out of college. What did you study in college?
I studied mass comm, TV, radio, broadcast.
Okay, what were you trying to do with that?
At the time, I think when I declared that major when I went to school, I started college in 2009. And there's no podcasting at that point, right? So keep that in mind. Everything audio is radio. And I wanted to be a radio personality. I felt like I had a really great voice. I know I'm charismatic, and I'm like, oh, I could see myself doing radio. Like, of course, we grew up in New York City. You growing up with Angie Martinez, probably the number one voice, and then Wendy Williams, and you know these people. So I felt like that was something I could do. That's why I declared that major. And so when I'm getting out, I will be honest. When I was at Virginia State, I did not really lock in the way I should have in academics. I was really more into social life. I was more into...
It could get like that.
You know, what's happening in the yard, what's happening in the Forster, what's happening in the gazebo, you know, just hanging out.
They don't have the gazebos no more.
I know they took the gazebos away. That's crazy because they were iconic. But yeah, so that was what I was so focused on. I really didn't have the vision. And just to quickly just stop and like say like, wow, I'm so like inspired by you. Seriously.
Thank you.
Because you had the vision at a young age. And I think it has a lot to do with the exposure now. Social media allows you to see people and learn about financial literacy. You know, we just didn't have that. But then also not just having that, you had to be able to apply that. Because a lot of people have the access to the same information you do, but they're not applying it. So it still took something within you to do that. I'm really inspired by that. It's really dope. I wasn't like that then.
It's okay.
So when I got out of college, I had barely done an internship. I didn't have any jobs lined up. I applied for a few jobs in Richmond in radio. I applied for, and it's so funny, those jobs were like literally $23,000 a year at the time. I graduated 2013.
That was not...
Just 10 years ago.
Yeah, okay.
Just 10 years ago, their starting salaries were so low. But at that time, I hadn't have no idea that was super low. I'm like, oh, $20,000 a year? Like, I don't know. Like, at the time, only jobs I had to that point was as a server or a camp counselor.
Yeah.
So, I didn't get any of the roles. I came back to New York, and it all started with my brother in my organization, True Foundation. My brother Kips, he started a sports blog, and he was like, Jazz, like, I always loved sports. I always loved sports. I always was a basketball head. Like, since I was 10 years old, I started watching basketball. And Kips was like, I'm starting a blog. I would love for you to write some articles. I'm like, I never even thought about writing sports articles. I wrote my first sports article. I wrote it down on a sticky note. I may be messing up the date, but it was April of 2014. And from there, that allowed me to think about sports as a career. That was really my introduction. So from that, I just started to seek out freelance opportunities, freelance writing opportunities, Brick Media. I don't know if you ever heard of Brick Media. I don't know how much they're doing now, but at the time they were doing a lot in Brooklyn. And they would allow people to, this is when podcasting is kind of like picking up. They had a studio. And if you came and took their courses, you could record your podcast in their studio. It's downtown Brooklyn. So I was like connected with them trying to do that. And they had an event, and I ended up meeting my mentor, Mia Hall, which that's key. As you just said, your mentor, Wall Street Trapper, mentors are so important. I met Mia, and at the time she was the, want to say the community manager or community relations manager for the Brooklyn Nets. And she really opened that door for me, because she let me into this whole world of basketball that was happening behind the scenes that I knew nothing about. And like, I'm just following behind her, like as her little assistant, as her doing whatever. And I'm just like going with her, and we're like in the back, and I'm seeing that there's a whole thing happening in the back, right? There's reporters, there's managers, there's agents. I'm like, oh my God. And I just got bit by the bug. Like, I was like, oh, this is what I want to do. So that was my introduction to sports, how I got to the so between 2014 and 2016, I was pretty much freelancing. I had a quick stint at Steve Stout's agency, Translation. And I was only there for about 2 or 3 months. But I got the executive assistant experience. And because I had that on my resume and on my LinkedIn, someone actually reached out to me from the and was like, hey, we got this role. And you get this stuff on LinkedIn, you think it's like fake. I thought it was like one of those like, fake emails. And I'm like, is this a real like? So I'm like, I wasn't even going right back, but I wrote back like, okay, tell me more, And it was a real recruiter, and they recruited me, and that's the rest is history.
Okay, cool. All right, so got recruited.
Yeah.
And did you enjoy it?
I enjoyed my time at or at the league.
Yeah, you
might have to edit it out. I didn't need to, but
it's good. All right, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But at the league office, I definitely did enjoy my time.
Yes,
I did.
Okay, so what do you feel like are some of the key things that helped you? Like, what key things that you learned working for the league?
Whew, a lot. Business-wise, I learned it's not personal. The business isn't personal. You're not in sports to meet friends. It's a real treacherous business, and I'm really grounded in morals and values and integrity, and like I'm really big on stuff like that. And money and business does not come above that for me personally. I'm always going to lead with integrity. I'm always going to lead with that. And if that means I miss out on opportunities or things don't align for me, then it just is not right for me. It needs to also align with my morals and values and my integrity. And you'll learn fast that it's not a fair game. And it's not about that. It's about the bottom line. And that's the money. And that's it. So I learned that. Positively, I feel like I learned a lot about sports. I learned that there's so many roles. A lot of people that look like us believe that the only way they can be a part of sport is playing. And that is like maybe 10% of the roles. There's so many more roles around players versus being the actual player. So if we were exposed to that and knew that we could have avenues to be a part of sport without actually playing, I feel like that's something I learned being at the league office. And I learned how to be a professional. It was my first real job. It was my first real job. Like I said, I had a short stint at translation, but the league really
put
me in there. You know what I mean? Where I learned the lingo, I learned the flow of it, and I'm forever grateful for that.
That's good. So to people who are into sports, they're young right now, high school, college, they're into sports. They may play basketball or even any other sports, but we're going to stick to basketball since that's where you work. Yeah. What would you say to them, right? Like, the hoop dreams are deflating. Like, they don't see us going that far anymore, but they still want to be in the sports field. What would you say to those young people?
Wow, fine. I think it all ties back to how we started this, about, like, knowing yourself. Know yourself, right? Okay, you love sport, but that cannot be the only thing about you. You love basketball, you love football, you love whatever. What else about you do you know? Do you like to write? Do you like to manage people? Are you super creative where you can see somebody and say like, oh, I think you should wear that, or you should do that, or maybe you should brand this way, or are you good at social media? Like, I mean, I think I would say find out what you're good at outside of actually playing. And there is a job for you to do a part of that.
Okay. I'm not sure if you can answer this, but this is a question. What do you feel like is a couple of things that every basketball player needs, right? Being that you work for the league, league agency. Sorry.
It's okay.
Like on a business side, right? What do you see? Like, wow, I wish the kids in the hood knew about this. Like, that they need this, like this goes on behind the scenes. Like,
you know what? I'm gonna say something very unorthodox, and it's a lane that needs to be tapped in, and that I'm aspiring to tap into is you have a coach in every other aspect of your life when you're an athlete, and then when you get to that level, you have some sort of advisor or coach for finances, for nutrition, your body. You got a trainer. You have a coach that's actually coaching you on the court. You have so many, a business manager, but nobody's coaching you on your spirit and your soul. And it's so important. And it's not just like you just need a therapist. Like, yeah, you can have a therapist in your mind, but your mind is separate from your spirit. And I think people kind of group mental health and spiritual health as one. And I think that is two. I think that is different. I think you can have a therapist and you also need some sort of spiritual, whether it's just a friend, is it a coach, is it a mentor, is it an advisor? I think that you need that aspect. And I feel like that's something that a lot of athletes need and they don't have. And nobody is really
trying to give that to them. Okay. So what are some things you feel like athletes need to watch out for as they, make these decisions?
It's a lot they have to watch out for. It's so crazy because I think you might end up like titling this episode like Know Yourself, because I keep hearing that. I feel like God is keep telling me to say that. It's coming back to that. I think if athletes begin to know themselves, accept themselves for who they are, whatever that is, and get really clear on who they are, their principles, their values, that will direct a lot of their decisions and will help them not have those pitfalls that we see, whether it's the domestic violence, things we see with athletes when we're hearing issues with their girlfriends and how they pick women and what women they pick and the friends they have around. Or sometimes we see a lot of athletes that come from our neighborhoods that are still trying to identify with that, and you're like so past that. Like, you're a multi-millionaire. Why are you trying to be like the dude that's on the street? He wants to be like you.
Yeah.
So you don't need to want to be like him. Like, you have surpassed that. You have eclipsed that. And you don't have anything to prove to the people back home that you still hard, you still tough. You know what I mean? So I'm seeing those things. Like, if they got clear about that, then a lot of the problems would be eliminated.
That's fact. Who's your favorite basketball team?
My favorite basketball team, at this point, okay, my favorite basketball player is LeBron James, right?
Okay, you're a LeBron fan. Cool.
I'm a LeBron fan. So the Lakers, yes. But then, like, now I like to watch. now I like to watch, like, exciting new teams. Like, so me and Jess, that's my partner, we'll watch the Pacers. We like the Pacers. And, when Ja was playing, I know Ja's out for the rest of the season, but, like, he was Memphis. Yeah. We used to like to watch Memphis. We like to watch Boston. We like to watch Sacramento. Like, so we just like to watch the young guys. So I'll say, like, those are my teams. Like, I'll be rooting for them too, up until it gets to the point where the Lakers. And I'm like, okay, I'm riding with the Lakers. Yeah.
So was FanDuel a thing when you were working?
Yes. It's okay. We can just let it ride.
I'm so sorry.
I know it'll be totally fine. Yes. You can just say it at this point.
Okay.
It's fine.
I'm so sorry. It just literally slipped my mind. I know. But was FanDuel a thing?
Yeah. So I started at the league in 2016. Sports betting wasn't legal when I started. It became legal during my time there. So at some point, I can't tell you the exact year when it became legal. I want to say maybe around like 2020, 2021, I may be wrong, but around that time is when it became legal.
Do you know anything about, like, that business of why, like, or seen anything where you was like, wow, they're doing this because of this, or see, like, the correlation between, like, all of us out here betting? And
no, I don't have any insights on like I don't think the rigged.
What's good, y'all? Are y'all having a hard time starting conversations in large rooms? Do you need to find more effective ways to draw attention to yourself without wearing a fancy outfit? I figured out a hack. You need some Financial Revolution merch. Everything is a staple piece that represents Black wealth. You are what you wear, so make sure you join the rest of the billionaires and get some FR merch. We have hoodies, sweatsuits, t-shirts, and much more. Make sure you visit www.financialrevolutionn.com and use code podcast for a special 10% off. Again, go to www.financialrevolutionn.com and use code podcast for a special 10% off. Let's get it, y'all.
Like, people think that. I don't think that.
Oh, yes. Please clarify that.
I personally don't think that. I've never seen anything and I'm being completely honest, I've never seen anything within my vantage point that would give me or lead me to believe that. Like, I do not believe that personally.
So you think they playing?
I really think that it's really.
Oh, no.
People think that it's like the commissioner and somebody is sitting in the room and picking the teams. I don't believe that. I've never seen that.
I don't know.
So I can't. I've never seen that.
I forgot who lost. I feel like this was either my middle school or high school year, early high school year.
Yeah.
I think it was the Spurs against the Warriors or the Warriors against somebody. And after that playoff game when they lost, I said it's rigged. It's rigged. And I never watched the NBA.
Where
after that.
Really?
Like not on some like never, but like never.
You don't watch it.
Never purposely. I won't buy no subscription. Enough that I don't know what it did to me. But
so you're not tapped in like that no more.
I'm not even tapped in like that. Like I was I was tight. I was tight.
No, I don't think it is. Like I said, I don't have any information about that. I don't know anything about that, and I personally don't think so. Like I believe that it is integrity on that end for sure.
Okay. What's some fun facts about the league that you like tell us, like tell the people?
It's a fun place to work. It's a fun place to work. Just the atmosphere, my personal experience. Everybody may have a different experience depending on who you're working for, what department you're in, but overall, it's a lot of perks. It's a lot of perks.
Like what?
The travel. You know, if you're in a traveling team, they give lots of gifts. You get a lot of merch. Get to go to games. You might run into a famous person that you looked up. Like I ran into Michael Jordan in the elevator one time at work.
That's dope.
And it was so weird because it was like when I first started working there. He must have been there for a meeting or something. And I walk into the elevator and I look and I was literally like,
that's you?
Because it was like us growing up, we grew up watching like Space Jam, you know. So it's like as a little kid, it's almost like he's like a folklore, like he's not even a real person.
Yeah.
So to see him in person was like,
Michael.
Oh my God, Michael
you?
And it was like, I just got in the elevator. I was just, professional. I didn't say anything to him. I turned around, waited for my stop, and he was in the back of the elevator, and I was just like, oh my God, this is crazy.
No picture, no nothing.
No, I didn't ask for a picture, anything.
Do you do what she did?
No,
okay.
no.
Good.
In those moments, I pride myself on. I don't know. I'm the type of person I like to keep it player.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not like, can I get a, unless it's somebody I really, 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 really want to take a picture with, and it would still have to be outside of kind of that exact work. Moment, because you want to keep the integrity.
Because you at work too.
You at work, you want to be professional. So I pride myself on that.
I get it. Yeah. All right. So how important is, you spoke about this, but being young, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like integrity is something that you have to build at a young age, right? Because it can be easy to lose your integrity or to do things, and it's not cool. Yeah. Right. So who helped you like establish like integrity, or is it just like who taught you? Like,
I would have to say my first introduction to integrity is my mom, right? I knew my mom was really big on loyalty. I knew my mom was really big on honesty in my household. My grandmother as well. Like honesty was very much a big thing. Like my grandmother would say, this is really dramatic, but this is how she really saw it. It's like, if you lie, you steal, and if you steal, you will kill. And I remember she said this to me one time. I was like, okay, I'm not gonna kill nobody, and I'm not a thief, So to me, she kind of linked them all together. It was like, you just don't lie, And that was something I grew up big on, like always being honest, always telling the truth. Very rarely would I tell a lie, like, and it would have to be like a little baby white lie, like, but lies, I just don't feel comfortable. I'd much rather tell the truth. Yeah. So I think that was my introduction to integrity, and I think maybe those seeds, I think it's just innately who I am. It's paired. Like, yes, of course I had direction, and my parents instilled it, but it feels natural to me. It's like innate.
So how do you pass those same things down to your children, right? Because you are a mom, like you said, right? Yeah. You have one daughter.
I have one daughter, but I also am a bonus mom.
Yeah.
Too.
Okay.
Justin has 2 children.
Okay.
So especially with his daughter, who I spend a lot of time with, it's very important for me to just model that for her. And I also just tell her, right? Like, I just remember, like I said, the conversations my mom had with me. So it's really big and important for me to tell her, especially she's 11. So she's at a point where she really can grasp it. Justice, my baby girl, is 1. So we're not there yet, but I still will correct her, even though she doesn't know, Justice, that's not right. Put that down, or don't hit my, just teaching her those things. But with our 11-year-old, any point she tells me something about school, if we're talking about just like, in the household, I'm like, no, we tell you honest, we tell the truth, or we don't want anybody to feel left out. So like if something's happening in school, no bullying, like, those things are just important to me. Just principles, value, like it carries you throughout your life.
Yeah.
So I think it's imperative. So I try to share it as much as I can.
Have you ever been in a position where your integrity was at an attack?
Ask me more. Like, what do you mean?
Like, have you ever
Clarify.
been in a position where, like, you're stuck in between deciding? Like,
if I should be honest or if I should.
So all right, I'll give you an example.
Give me an example.
For example, I'm young, right? Literally on our way here, I was talking to my friend, and you know, we going through, like, you know, not relationship issues, but we just young, trying to get this relationship stuff going or whatever. Right. And like sometimes they tell us when you're young, it's like I might have a therapy session. They tell us when we're young, we're supposed to have fun, right? Like, you know, live your life, don't like have fun. These are the years when you're supposed to just do you, whatever. Yeah. But at the same time, when you're doing you also can end up hurting people's feelings. You know what I'm saying? Right. And at some point, it's like that messes with your integrity, right? So I'm just saying, like, has there ever been a time or situation? It doesn't even have to be relationship based, but like, no, I'm happy when your integrity was like under attack, where you're like,
No, listen, and let me say this: I've done some things that are not aligned with that now. I'm 32 years old. I can reflect back when I was 21. I absolutely hurt people's feelings. I absolutely wasn't always the best friend. Like, I probably have, you know, made some missteps and mistakes. So I never felt good about it. I think when you're younger, you're guided a little bit more by your feeling versus processing how it's going to affect everybody. It's like, I feel like I should do this right now. I'm about to do it. And then I'll think about it later. And that's where, you know, I made some mistakes for sure. Like, I'm not like a picture perfect, like Dalai Lama, I'm just a perfect woman. Like, no, I'm not any stretch of the imagination, but I think I have kind of like matured. Man, I think that's the perfect way to put it. I think I'm really mature at this point now. Yeah.
I don't know, cause I feel like, you know, cause we're talking to young people, so I feel like that's sometimes like a lot of things we go through is like, dang, I just want to live my life. I just want to do this. Or maybe I don't want to record a podcast today. I just want to have fun. But it's just like, what's going
to keep you? So what I would say to Gen Z, right? Because I'm just like one generation ahead of you. I don't know if what am I, Gen?
You're millennial.
I'm a millennial? Okay, I'm born in 91. So I'm millennial. So to the 16 to 25-year-olds, I would say you guys kind of got to grow up a little faster in this climate. I'm not even going to hold you.
Why?
We living in some treacherous times. When I was 16, the world wasn't the way it looked right now. Like, it was just, this is my opinion. I just feel like there was a little bit more grace for you to mess up and bounce back, and people were a little bit more forgiving and loving, and just the vibration. Like, y'all growing up in a vibration where there's no code. You know, people wouldn't shoot at babies and women, and now it's like, it don't matter. You know, there's no code anymore. So I feel like you guys got to be extra on point. Like, y'all got to grow up a little bit faster. Like, y'all got to mature a little bit faster and be on something like, you would think at 21 you should just be young, dumb, and having fun, but you kind of got to be on point. Like, you got to be, you know, you got to balance out your fearlessness with maturity. And like, I think if you talk about principles and values, that's what'll ground you. Like, get clear on who you are and who you're not, even at 16. Because I believe, you know, for me personally, I'll share this story. I think this may be helpful to somebody who's 16 years old. When I was 16 years old, I was a virgin. And I was like proudly a virgin. Like, I just tell everybody, like, I was like, they used to joke on me. Used to call me like a nun, virgin male, like all of that, right?
Nun is crazy.
But I was clear on who I was. And no guy could talk. And I had, not to brag, but I had lots of niggas. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry if I can say it. But no, I had a lot of guys. I talked to a lot of guys, hood niggas. Like, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't like I was just talking to guys that was going to church. Like, I was talking to different guys, but they respected that I was so clear on who I was, that they fucked with me because of that. It was like, nah, I fuck with Jazz. Like, damn, I wish that she was having sex. And like, I'm probably going to have sex with another girl and just lie to her and tell her that I'm not. But I'm going to respect her for being who she is. I'm not peer pressure. Niggas wasn't putting that pressure on me because I was like,
knew what it was.
And I was clear about it. And I was clear about that at a young age. You know what I mean? So any girls, guys, it could be girl or guy, who you clear you don't want to have sex, you clear you don't want to smoke weed, you clear you don't want to gangbang, stand on that. And don't let nobody make you feel like you corny because that's not what you like. No, you corny because you're doing what everybody else is doing. I'm not corny. You're actually the one who's being conditioned and influenced by media, by racist systems that want you to be addicted to weed, that want you to be gangbanging. I'm doing something that's individual. I have an individual mind. So I would want your generation, if they learn anything from this podcast, to take away is be clear on who you are and who you're not, and stand on that.
I'm so happy you said that, right? Just because, just to speak to my 16-year-old self, right? When I was, let's say, in high school, I'm not gonna say I was doing anything, but I was just doing anything just to kind of fit in, right? And I could say, like, because I wasn't clear on, I feel like I knew myself, but the person I was based off of the people around me. If that makes sense, right? So I was easily influenced by the people around me. So if everybody is wearing this is what we wearing. Okay. If everybody's doing this is what we're doing. Like I was very much like a people pleaser, just trying to go with the vibes, trying to be accepted, trying to be cool, right? Because I was always the youngest one out the group. Okay. Right? So it was like that type of thing. Like, I'm always trying to play catch up. You know what I'm saying? But I forgot. I feel like the pandemic. During the pandemic, it was like all that had to stop, right? I had to learn who I was, and I had like some situations where I just really had to sit and reflect, and that's when I'm like, nah. So I forgot who. No, my aunt. She told me. She said, "Do you know what core values are?" And I didn't. And she broke down the whole thing, and I will never forget that conversation. She was like, you need to know what core values are. You need to have 5 things or whatever that you live by and nobody can take from you. And that's what's going to teach you how to go through life. Right? Because right now you just doing whatever because you don't stand for nothing. Yes. But when you have them values, it's like, all right, this messing with my integrity. Like one of my values is respect. So I'm not openly disrespecting anybody. I'm not letting anybody openly disrespect me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I think like that is just like super, super important. Like
you hit it. Your aunt was 100% right. And those conversations are so important, right? That your aunt took the time to have that conversation with you. Like it's so true. And that's what I mean. I didn't say core values. That's a better way to say it. Like core values. Yeah. It's your guideline. It's almost like if you are a Christian, it's your Bible, right? Yep. Like, and as a Christian, you can have the Bible and have your core values, right? Yep. And what you will find, I am a Christian. I find that a lot of my core values are baked into Christian values, right? Yeah. So if you get away from the religion part of it and you really focus in on the principles, love, compassion, grace, mercy. These are great core values to have. Like people get so caught up like, oh, I'm not into religion. Like I'm more of a spiritual person. Like I'm a super spiritual person. And I still find value in religion. There's parts of it I take and there's parts of it I don't. Yeah. You know what I mean? But like you can find some super dope values in religion.
Yeah, too. And even my father was telling me, he was like, you know, when you really break down the word religion, it really just stands for something to rely on, right? And he was saying, like, that can be any religion that you choose because each religion has its meanings and values and stuff like that. And it was like, even if you choose not to rely on a certain religion, you still have your core values that you rely on, right? So religion just gives people, like, a way of life because they believe in a certain thing, so they live by that way of life. Yeah. So it's just, like, saying the same thing, but no. But so, like... learning, man. Just learning. But let's move forward. So now we're talking about family, right? How important is family to you, and like just who you are as Jazmine?
Oh, family is everything to me. It's interesting. Like this season that I'm in, I have been losing a lot of friends. I don't say losing, they're not dying. I don't say it like that. But God has been distancing me from people that have been important in my life for some time now. And, you know, I had to pray about it. Like, God, like, why? Like, why is this happening? Like, you know, and God said to me, but you have so many cousins and you got so many that you don't even tap into. Like, you love your cousins. Y'all super close. Like, when y'all see each other, y'all so happy to see each other. But you don't call them. You don't text them. Like, so don't worry about the friends that I'm distancing. I'm not gonna say removing because I'm not closing the door on these relationships, but they are, you know, removed in a way. And God has been really opening me up to just realize how many family members I have, and I'm so grateful that I do have. And it's so crazy because right after he revealed that to me, 4 cousins reached out to me this week.
Wow.
And I hadn't spoke to none of them on the phone or like personal like that in a long time.
Wow.
And I was just like, God, thank you. Like you just revealed it to me, and then you showed me like, look at what you have. So much we focus on what we don't have, or what we're missing, or what has been taken from us or lost from us, and it's like, but look at what you do have.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Like, you forget, it could be sitting right there. You have something so important sitting right in your toolbox, and you're like, oh, but I need that one over there that's not available. Yeah. Like, this is available right here. And God revealed that to me. So family is super important. I love my family. I love my cousin, my extended family, like my cousins and aunts and things like that. And then the family that I'm creating, of course, you know, we got a little young family. We're a young family, but I'm figuring it out how to make it work.
So what are some of the things that you're learning as you stepped into new motherhood and like building a family and stuff like that? Because I think a lot of times, well, are your parents married or anything?
No, my parents aren't married.
Okay. Well, I said that to say that a lot of times we go into these relationships, but we don't have the proper guidance at first, right? Because we don't see it in our households a lot, especially like in the Black community, right?
Yeah.
So what are some of the things that you can tell the young audience that's important, right? That they should look out for, or, you know,
in relationships?
As just building a family, when it comes to building a family. Because I think, like, literally, I'm thinking to myself, like, I got friends that got kids. I got friends that's getting married. Like, we ain't
already at 21?
Well,
or you got friends a little bit older?
I'm the young one out the group.
Okay,
you know?
okay.
Not like my close friends, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I got some Instagram followers. I'm like, oh, shoot. No, my line sister literally just got proposed to in New Year's.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, when you put things in perspective, it's like, I'm 21, right? And I'm not in no rush to get married or anything like that. But, like, it is something to think about, because I'm going to be 23, right? Then some of my friends are 23, they're about to be 24. I have a friend that's 25, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, getting up there, right? So what are some of the things that...
that ain't no up there. Let me tell you. First of all, because I used to think the same thing. When I was younger, I said by 26, I was going to be married. I was going to have 2 kids. And 26, when you're 15, sounds mad old.
Yeah.
Child, 26 came and went, and I didn't have a boyfriend. I didn't have no kids. I was still living at home. I was 26. I was still living at home. 26, I was working at the league, so that gave me a little feeling of being grown. But I was still, you know, so I said that to say, now people are starting families like now, like how I had my child, I was 30, right? 31. I got pregnant at 30. I had my baby at 31. That was, and I'm grateful, it has been the best time. Your 20s, I could not imagine being a mother at 23 or 24. Like, the people who do it, you know, hats off, because 31 and I was still struggling to adjust. So I think in this generation, do not rush. Like, and I'm not even saying that to be cliche, because some people say don't rush, but like, I truly mean that. Like, it gets greater later. I think that you would find more value in a family and partnership in your 30s than you do in your early 20s. So, just my opinion.
Okay, so what are some of the things that we need to do when it comes to building a family, or look out for? Like,
when you're trying to, I would love to give advice on this, because I didn't think about this when I was deciding to start a family. I don't even think, you know, Justin and I were in love, and I felt very, you know, maternal. I wanted a baby. But did we sit down and like, okay, what's your parenting style? No, we just kind of went with love and, you know, created our baby girl out of complete pure love and desire for a child and for a family, but didn't really go through those technical things. And I would implore anybody to, as much as it may feel like unnatural to go through the technical things, like may feel like business-like, but it is. Because your house is going to run similar to your business is going to run. Like, everybody has roles and responsibilities. You know, what are your here we come back to the values thing. What are the values? What's important to you in parenting? How do you believe in discipline? Do you not believe in discipline? Do you believe in hitting or, you know, time out? Like, those things matter. So my advice would be, if you're looking for a partner or when you're deciding on a partner, ask them those questions. It may feel awkward, but you need to know. Like, what's important to you? How many kids do you want to have? How important is finances? Like, how do you manage your finances? Are we going to, bring our finance together? Or are we going to do separate? The big thing, the 50-50 conversation.
Yeah.
Are we going to split everything? Or are you going to, so I would say be clear on the things that are really important to you. If it's like somebody who's financially stable, if it's somebody who's, really, really big on kids and like can immerse themselves in that's important to you. Get clear on that, and then when you decide on a partner, make sure you ask those questions and make sure it aligns.
So how do you feel about the 50-50 conversation?
Let me tell you how I feel about that. I would love to tell you how I feel about 50. I think the natural order of things.
Stop playing. You playing around too much. Like, you want to do something, you want to make the money, you want to build wealth because it look cool, but you're not serious. Because you know what I got, and I got something for you. The Blueprint for Investing, Volume 1, created by me, Aaliyah Duah. It gives you a step-by-step guide on how to get started investing in the stock market. See, if you want to really build wealth, you got to put your money into things that's going to work for you, right? Because the job money cool, but you want to make the money work too, right? So it's going to give you a step-by-step guide, investing tools, the apps to use, everything. And the best part is, I know you don't like to read, so I only made it 28 pages. That's it, right? 28 pages, and you getting yourself some wealth of knowledge. So make sure y'all tune in, get your copy today, and go to financialrevolutionn.com. Let's get it, y'all. Back to the episode.
In a heterosexual relationship with a man and woman, right? Because if you're talking about same sex, I don't know the dynamic. If a woman and a man and a man, how are they gonna? But when you're talking about the natural order of a woman and natural order of a man, it's natural for a man to provide. And it's natural for a woman to nurture. Okay. And that's just my personal belief. Now, if we in a situation to where you don't have it and we have to split, absolutely. Right? Like, but I think to go into a relationship, for me personally, when you go into a relationship and a man is making you feel like you are doing everything the same with him, it takes away that, like, you wanting to be submissive. It takes away that natural order of things for me, personally. I think that it's something very masculine about a man providing, and it inspires and activates something in a woman that allows her to be submissive and nurture and all the things that make men feel good, and vice versa, make women feel good. And I think that you take that away when you come in saying, like, there's no gender roles, 50-50, I'm paying, we splitting everything. That won't work for me.
So I'm gonna start the conversation of, like, I feel like, and this is, everything here is opinionated, y'all. Like, this is how we feel, right?
Yeah,
but, the topic of the conversation these days, I'm not sure if you're in the ear of us young people, but the topic of the conversation these days is, like, a lot of young men are sassy, right?
Sassy man of apocalypse.
Yes, sassy man of apocalypse.
I agree.
My foot, bro. And they say, because, like, like, even some of my mans, they like, bro, I'm not paying for that. I'm not doing that. Like, I'm not doing that. Or they're like, she got figured out on her own. How do you feel about that, right? And just from to speak to a young man's perspective, because sometimes I get it, right? Because even myself, right, I like women, right? So most of the time, not even most of the time, every time. and in my same-sex relationship, I play more of the masculine role, right?
So you're expected to pay.
Yeah, and do stuff like that, which I get. Well, however, I also know that I am building a brand. I am building a business. This here is my baby. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. This here is what I'm putting my all into, right? So it's like, in the same breath, I want to provide, but you're also not going to take away from what I got
what you're doing
here. And I think the 50-50 relationship, the paying part is tricky, because as young people, we see that from the rappers, the athletes, the entertainers, or even older people. But I also feel like you have to get there. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. There's a certain level when you can do that. If I'm building, if I just got a job, if I'm in college.
Absolutely agree. I agree with you 100%. it's two things happening at the same time. It's a sassy man or sassy guy apocalypse,
Yeah.
and then it's also a city girl, sexy red generation happening at the same time, and it's clashing.
Yeah.
Because the city girl mind, the guys are viewing girls like, she not about to just take me for my money and da-da-da, and they have a right to feel that way. And women is like, you ain't getting this for free, and you ain't that. You got to pay to play. You know, it's happening at the same time, and it's clashing. And I think this has always been since the beginning of time, right? Like, men are afraid to get taken for their money, and women are afraid to get taken for their vagina, and they don't want to just be sex. They don't want to just be like, oh, you just hit and quit, right? We grow up hearing that, and then for men, it's like, you're not about to just take my money, right? So it's these two things are always going to be consistently, and I think both people have valid points. How you get to I talk to Justin about this, or we have this debate all the time. How my thought about the remedy is, grow your discernment, and that's for women and for men. No, young man, you should not pay for every beautiful woman that you see, and because some of them might really be taking you for your money. Vice versa, young girl, don't open your legs to any man. You know, be discernment about, is he a good person? Does he like me for me? I think both people need to figure out, and there's no sure way, but you just discern. You have to grow some sort of level of discernment so that you can feel out context clues. Don't ignore the red flags. Every girl wants a guy to treat them like a princess and buy them stuff. Like, we all know that. But a real solid woman is not going to leave you if you don't have money. And that's the truth. I'm talking about if she really cares about you and she knows that if you had it, you would do it. It's a difference between a cheap nigga and a nigga that if he had it, he'll do it. Yeah. Or a nigga who got it and still won't do it for you because he's just cheap like that. Yeah. And he's tight with his. That's a difference, and we're not doing that. Yeah. Because it's just like, men used to take pride in paying for a woman's hair and nails. It was like guys would give you money for your hair and nails, and they don't even want. They just like, I just want to see your hair and nails done. Yeah. That was a very masculine thing, and it's like, we need to get back to that. Like, we need to tap. I think the guys need to tap back into that, and the women need to tap back into the femininity. Because it was classy. Like, it was women who was city girls, but they was not broadcasting it. Like, it was always been as gold diggers from the beginning of the time, but they wasn't saying it on their Instagram page. They wasn't screaming it out like, I'm gonna take you for your money. Where's the discreetness about it? Like, because there's always been women like that, and there's always been niggas that's tricks. Like, but now it's like, we just kind of lost. We lost the class.
Yeah, it's hard out here, man. Yeah. It's hard. It's hard. Mm-hmm. Like, sometimes you're like, dang, I wish I was born in the 90s. Like
91 was like the best year to be born. Because we get the best, not to say it like best that, but like, we do, because we're kind of like, I'm older enough than you to be like a part of the people who are 10 years older than me. Like people who's like 40 right now. Mm-hmm. Like, I understand their generation. And I understand your generation a little bit. I have a little brother that's 21, so I tapped in through him, kind of. But in my opinion, every other generation prior to y'all generation was connected to the generation before. Y'all generation is, like, separated.
Because the internet
really... And I came up when, like, the internet was, like, first becoming really, really, really powerful. Like, we had the dial-up. We still had to turn the phone. We had to... Like, you couldn't talk on the phone and use the internet at the same time. I don't know if you guys even know about that. Nah. But it's dial-up.
We be on Instagram on the phone at the same time.
It's desktop and a cord that goes to your phone line, and that's how you was able to access the internet.
That's real old school.
And if somebody was on the phone, you couldn't use the internet. So, like, we grew up seeing it come up where my mother didn't have a cell phone. Like, I remember we got cell phones. You know what I mean? I used to be downtown Brooklyn when I was, like, 13 and call mom on a payphone. I remember that, and I was able to grow up in that and then transition into this world, and I know both. I know technology really well, and I know life before. Yeah. So, I mean, nothing y'all could do about when y'all was born, right?
Yeah, it's nothing we can do, but I would say, like, I definitely do see, like, the difference in generations, and I also see how the media is playing such a big impact and influence on us, like, in all areas of life, like relationship-wise, money-wise, like all areas of life. But I definitely want to talk about the 50-50 conversation because it definitely is a big topic, and it's also understandable for both sides. I feel like a lot of us are in just defense mode. You know, we all have our guards up for the men and for the women, right? And and I feel like what's even worse now is that everything is like broadcasted, like every single thing, like it's like a dang, like you really could be, if you don't pay for her stuff, you in a group chat, the group chat posting you. If you don't do something with the guy, you in a group chat, the group chat took my, you know what I'm saying? So everybody just kind of got their guard up, and we just doing this.
No, we gotta, I mean, as a culture, as Black people, just as humans, let's just start to ground ourselves. Here we go back to core values, but like, it's something to the old-fashioned way of things. Of course, we have evolution and innovation, and you know, we can make things new, but like, there's some things that from the beginning of time that's still applicable today, and let's not turn away from everything from before and just do everything brand new, because it's not really working.
Yeah, that's a fact. Now, so just to go a little bit back to motherhood right now, what would you say to mothers, right? What are some of the lessons that you learned that you could pass down to somebody who has a kid right now, or who's about to have a kid, right?
Like I said, I'm a new mother. My daughter is 15 months. So, I'm not an expert by any means. I am still learning. I'm still figuring out. I would say understand that who you were before, you've been rebirthed. Like, you have died and been rebirthed. And I don't mean to be morbid, but like, mourn the woman you was before you became a mother. Because she is no more. She has evolved. Does not mean that but her rebirth is a new iteration of the woman that you were. So you can mourn her, because there's going to be a time of mourning. Like, you're going to miss who you were before. You're going to miss your freedom. You're going to miss just, you know, being able to think about yourself first and not have to think about somebody else first. But then when you mourn that and you let that rest, and you start to admire and get to know the new you, and this person is so important to the little one, to your creation, and that just gives you so much joy and peace. Like, you are the center of their world. Like, your body was their home, and they still see your body as their home, and it just gives you so much more value and importance, and
something to live for.
And even on a practical level, I feel like it's giving me structure. Like, you know, when you don't have no kids, you wake up anytime, go to sleep anytime, do anything. When you have children, it's like everything is deliberate. Like, the moment you go to brush your teeth and wash your face means something to you now, because you might not have got that time for them first couple of months. Like, so you have to carve out time to brush your teeth. Like, that's crazy when you think about it, but like, it teaches you how to value your time and to structure your day. So I would say, give yourself grace, new mom.
Yeah, that's important. That's important, right? Just to go back to the league conversation, right? So I talked to you off camera, and you were working at the league for 7 years, right? And there was a point when they laid you off.
Yes.
Right? Did they ever explain how
does that work?
Like, what did that look like? What was the conversation? Was there a 2-week notice?
Yeah, no, not exactly. It wasn't that. It felt in many ways abrupt. However, it happens. Like, and it's so crazy because so many companies are laying people off.
Yes, Microsoft,
silently and
Apple,
publicly and loudly, and you know, whatever. And it's happening, and this is just where the economy is, where we are, where businesses are when they're really thinking about the overhead and whatever the decisions go into. I'm not privy to all that goes into deciding to lay a portion of your workforce off, but no, I didn't have a lot of time to plan for it. But I was already in a season of, I knew the direction I wanted to go, and it was beginning to become clear to me that it wasn't aligned. So I was not like devastated, like, oh my God, like, I wasn't devastated. I was like, oh wow, okay, this is what's happening. Okay, let's go. It's gonna be the birth of something new. My initial feeling was, it's my time. God, you're telling me now. I thought I was going to stay here a couple more years and maybe I would actually pursue the things in the lane that I really want to pursue. Maybe I would, so you could always find more time to save up more money, more time to do this. And it was like, God was like, no, now.
Why do you feel like you had that? What do you think helps you have that clarity and mindset? Because I know somebody else who would looked at them like, oh my gosh, what would I have? What would I do? Right?
My support system, my man. I mean, if I was worried about where I was going to live or how I was going to pay this or how I was going to pay that, I might have been a little more. And I mean, still, Justin is able to support me by way of God, though, because God is blessing him and God is using him and God is giving him the resources, so that therefore I get the resources. But like, so it still all goes back to God. But nonetheless, I had a little bit more peace because I knew I had a support system. And when I told Justin, I texted him and said, babe, they laid me off. And he was like, his first message was like, it's lit, it's up.
Wow.
He's like, it's up. That was his first one. He's like, it's up. He was like, I got you. You good. You don't have to go back to work. Like, if you don't want to right now to give money. He was like, it's up. And it was.
So what's been going on since?
So some exciting things going on. I took some time to just relax at first.
Did you have your daughter at the time already?
Yeah, my daughter was 7 months.
Okay.
I took some time to really just reflect and think about. I know that God had something great for me to do. I just wasn't 100% clear on what. Exactly which way to do it. It was like all jumbled in my mind, and I just couldn't get clear. And I'm finding myself in these last few weeks get really clear, and I've just relaunched, or officially launched my business, Sage Soul.
Nice.
And right now it's going to be a rollout, but right now it's devotionals, daily devotionals. Excuse me. On Instagram and Facebook, and Threads and TikTok. So you can find me at Sage Water Soul is the page, or my personal page. I am Jazmine August. But yeah, I'm starting with the devotionals. It's inspiring people every day. Some affirmations, some prayers, and it's going to turn into products, services, and we taking it from there. Podcast.
Fire. Fire. Well. My last few questions is, did you have, like, were you saving any money while you were working that you feel like, or do you feel like you should have done that, or like what were some lessons out of that?
I have poor financial management. I'm gonna be completely honest. That's why I need to happen with you. Financial revolution.
Yeah.
Because I need to revolutionize my finances.
Got it.
I just haven't been responsible with my money. I'm just gonna be frank and honest, and I'm not ashamed about it. I just don't. I haven't put the time in to educate myself, and then what I do know, I have not applied, and it's just as simple as that. So absolutely could have saved more money. I absolutely could have had better savings. Even the money that I had once I got laid off, I still was just like, live my life, have a big first year birthday party, and I don't have a job. Doesn't matter. Like, I'm just like kind of like that free spirit to where I do stuff like that. So yeah.
Do you feel like you're learning now?
Oh yeah, I got a rude awakening. I got a rude awakening because that savings start to dwindle real fast when you don't have a job. So for my own like again, I don't have to worry about my roof over my head, and that gives me peace, right? I don't have to worry about those things. It's just me having my own money to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm grateful to my partner that he's able to hold us down during this time and really hold down those big bills. But like, I still want to have savings. I still want to contribute. I still want to be able to, so it's important for me to really build up my own finances.
What would you tell a young woman who may be in a similar situation based off of like what you're going through right now? If you can right your wrongs, not saying that you did anything wrong, but if you could right your wrongs, what would you tell
a young person? If respect money, respect it, because like I find that when you treat money like it's nothing, then it treats you like it's nothing. You know what I mean? So like, again, not putting money on a pedestal, but like respect it. Like, thank you, God, for the abundance. Thank you for what I have. And like, I'm going to be a good steward over this money. Not just like, because that's how I didn't care about money. And I'm changing my relationship with money. So I would say to somebody who's in a similar situation, who recently got laid off or whatever, respect your money and be a good steward over it.
Like, I know some people that have the mindset of, it's going to come back to me, or like, I'm going to spend the money anyways, right? I'm not sure if that was your mindset.
Yeah, no,
but...
I'm bad. I'm bad with money. I have been bad with money.
Yes. I also try to tell those same people that, like, I believe, as I don't put money on any pedestal, I believe that money has no value. It's equivalent to a piece of toilet paper, because it is, right? However, I say that, when I say that, I also mean that money is a tool, not the goal, right? So like, I don't idolize money in a way where it's like, money is my end all be all. I everything, like, I'm not doing things just for money, you know? However, it's the tool to get me to where I'm trying to go, what I'm trying to do, right? I want to be like the Black Panthers, right? And start all these big things, but I can't do that without money. You know what I'm saying? So that's my tool, right? I want to retire my mom. I can't do that without money. I want to live in a nice house. I can't do that without money. So it's the tool that will get me to my goal.
Right.
And I think once we start realizing that, we can change our relationship with money and not look at it as, not idolize it, but look at it as our tool. Same way, if I'm trying to build a bed, I'm not idolizing the toolbox or the hammer or whatever, but I'm like,
need it.
You know what I'm saying? But this is my tool to get me to making my bed, right? So I think like we have to start looking at it like that, and then that's when we'll start valuing it in its right way, saying like, okay, let me put my tool this way. Let me put my tool in the right place, because if I need to find a toolbox, I know where it is, right? If I need to do this, I know where it is. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's kind of how I look at money, and I think that that's the importance of money for me, you know, because it's like, I want to fund my freedom, right? And you
the
know,
freedom of others.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I can't do any of those things without having the proper funding.
I agree.
Right. So yeah. Well, what would you tell? My last question is, what would you tell younger Jazmine?
Younger Jazmine, I would just give her a hug. First and foremost, I would hug her so tight. And I would say, you are one of one. There is no one like you. And you need not compare yourself. You need not measure yourself next to, up to, beside anybody in anything. You are really like handcrafted by God. And I would just tell her that it's all going to work out, and you just have to trust. You have to have faith. Calm down. Don't be so anxious. Don't be so overcritical, and don't be so over analytical and overanalyze every single aspect of your life. But like, just like ease into it and enjoy the ride. And that's what I would say to my younger self.
Wow, that's good. So now we moving on to our last segment. The segment is called the Talk It Ish segment.
Okay.
Right.
Talk my shit. I love talking. One thing about it.
Talk It Ish segment. So what is something that you're really, really passionate about?
Black people. Black people. More than anything.
Power to the people. Black people. Now, Talk It Ish, right? So Talk It Ish to anybody who has ever doubted you, to anyone who said that you would never do it, or you could talk it to the league, whatever.
Aaliyah, you gonna give me a mic and tell me to talk my shit? Okay. Shit. You know what's so crazy? Because much as I like to talk shit, I'm so humble. Like, I'm a super humble person. Like, but I would just say, everything you think I can't do, I'm gonna do. I'm greater than you ever thought I was. God has his hands on me in every single dream, every single aspiration. This is God ordained. You can't stop this ship. And if you hate on me, or think that think I'm better than somebody, or think that I'm, not grounded and not humble, then you're not taking enough time to really see me for who I am. And you might want to take some time and see who I am, because you might learn something and you might pick up on something, and I might be valuable to your life. So instead of you hating on me or judging me or, trying to put me down, you might want to uplift me so I can uplift you. I'm just the shit. I'm a boss ass bitch. Can I say that?
Yes,
I'm a boss ass bitch, and I made my mistakes. I'm not perfect, but like I'm really that. I'm really her.
As you
and
should.
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you for that. As you should. No, that's why I do it. That's why I do it.
That felt really good.
People don't even know that. Sometimes we just need to release it. You know what I'm saying?
That
like,
felt really good.
Like we just need to talk our ish, right? Like sometimes we hold on to things, and it's cute to be humble. It's cool, but sometimes and it's important, right? But sometimes when we in spaces, especially when you in this room, right? Talk your ish, right? So that's why I have the talk your ish segment. And I started off with what's something that you're passionate about, right? Because I think, you know, when you're passionate about something and you stand for something, that's important. But you also gotta get that ish talking out your system.
That's super dope.
You gotta get your ish talking.
I think you know what? That should be something we all do like once a week.
No, seriously.
In the mirror. You know, it don't gotta be recorded, but like just in the mirror, like you gotta I've never done that before.
I was just telling my friend, like, I get in the mirror and I rap like I'm Issa Rae sometimes.
I identify a lot with Issa D.
You know,
the character, I identify with her a lot.
Nah, I get in the mirror and I just start rapping, like just start spitting. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. So now, what is your favorite lyric when it comes to business, money, or like that lyric that gets you in your bag?
It's very explicit. First off, Nipsey Hussle changed my life. Just his existence, and how he was so obedient to his calling because it was connected to so many other people's lives. He has changed so many people's lives. He's changed. If you are smart enough to discern and you listen to him, you can change your life.
Yeah, that's a fact.
So I could name so many Nip songs, but Nip Count Up That Loot it's off of the Mailbox Money mixtape. That is my anthem. That's my anthem. Like I put that on and I just like I'm in the car like
jamming, and
just Nip took that shit and he just gets you so inspired and you just like he's really doing it. Everything he's talking about, you get to see it. You know what I mean? Like so that that song is not one line. It's like the whole song. You just play that song. I feel you. But a verse that just stuck out to me because I've been saying I wanted to post it. But I didn't, I'm a spiritual, I'm a Christian woman. People see me as this sort of way. So I try not to like
VOD.
Yeah,
I get it. I get what you're saying.
Lil Wayne, Let's Do It off of his No Ceilings mixtape. And he go, real niggas fuck with me and I don't give a fuck who don't. And that is my like mantra. Because if you real, you're gonna fuck with me. And if you not,
I don't care.
I don't give a fuck.
I don't care.
Because it says more about you than it does about me. And and I mean that in the humblest way. Because any person who's really real and authentic, you can't not fuck with me. Because if you don't fuck with me, it's either you hating on me or you can't identify with what I identify with, like my values, like you're not a real one, so it's not connecting for you. But that's one line. Every time I say it, I just be like, real niggas fuck with me and I don't give a fuck who don't. That's my line.
I appreciate that. Well, I appreciate you coming on the platform. You got any last words you want to say to the people?
I want to say, please, if you feel connected in any way to anything that I've said, like, and I'm not saying this as like a, I don't want nobody that don't want me. So, if you feel connected, like, please follow me and tap in with me. The podcast is coming. The spiritual tools are coming to assist you in your journey. The devotions are there. The journal is coming. Like, all of it's coming. And I just really want you to tap in with me. And I want to tap in with you. So you can follow me at I am Jazz August. And you can also follow my business page at Sage Water Soul. And, just stay inspired. And don't get caught up in what anybody says you are. I think the most important thing is you define who you are and who you're not. That's it.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
No
it's going to be a good one. We talk about a lot of good stuff. Let's get it,
I'm
y'all.
excited. Make
Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Tell us what you learned. And make sure you tune in next week. Let's get it, y'all.